Hello, my beautiful, benevolent warrior brothers and and sisters of love and light. Welcome to February the 10th. The year is 2021. The time is currently 10:39 Pacific Standard Time in the afternoon. Oh, sorry, in the morning. Pardon me about that. But what I want to show you guys right now is, as forecasted, this is the severe earthquake I was forecasting to be in the Tonga Island area. I was not awake around the time this happened, about 5 hours ago. I was sleeping at the time. I was up all night. So I was sleeping at the time when that happened, but I have a soul brother in the east coast of the US who was awake, who monitored this just as I do. He's an older gentleman, but he was monitoring it, and he said that the average he was seeing was 8.4, which is about right, because if you add the zero point 0.5 back to these, so say for instance, we'll say this is an 8, and you add the 5 is 8.5. Okay, so technically, if you drop that 1 because it's 7.9, right? You add that 0.5, it's technically 8.4. And that's what I figured it would be, 8.4 average. And that's what he said, that they were average of 8.4. And there was one that was a little bit higher, but this is what the USBS reported it as. And as you can see, this one's really deep. So we must check this one. Interesting. This is a different area. It's going to refresh right now on its own. And so here we go. Let's see. So this one. Whoa! Look at that. I cannot make this up. Do you see? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? It's a literal cross. Wow. Talk about synchronicity, right? This is my first time seeing this. Look at that. A literal cross. No matter what way you look at it as, there's a literal straight line and a literal straight line. There's nothing here in this area of the ocean, according to all the maps. The nearest thing is Tonga Islands with, what? There they are. I believe that's what. Huh? Interesting. What are those? You see that? But if I zoom in any further, they go away. And it's not up here anywhere. Anyhow, so Norfolk Island, Fiji, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, here's Tonga. So I called that it was going to be around the Tonga Islands. Technically, yeah, this is quite a distance. This is over 200 miles, but considering how big the Earth is, okay, how big the world is, not the world, sorry, the planet, how big the Earth is, I got it pretty spot on overall, because I said, I mean, who calls a severe earthquake to come within a week? Okay, I'll check back on my actual video to get the exact technical words, but it's not about being right or wrong. It's about having the ability, anyone, being able to produce enough know-how, enough understanding, I should say, of seismic activity, pressure transferring, solar weather, things like that, which is not difficult to understand at all. And I will explain all of this eventually in the near future, so stay tuned to my channel, Soul Reviver, SOL, Spark of Light, or School of Light, or Society of Luminaries, and then Reviver stands for rehabilitating every vessel internally via emotions and resonance, meaning music and other resonating ventures and such. But here we go. So, Reason why I called this was due to what was happening in the antipode of this area. It's going to refresh right now, so as it's refreshing, we're going to check the antipode. So here's the inside of, here's the inside of the Earth. So here's, as you can see, that big, huge white circle. That's that earthquake in question. So we're going to center that there, take off that see-through, because what we're seeing right now is technically the reverse side of the opposite side of the sphere, meaning if I take this off, now all of a sudden you can see the face part of this sphere. So the opposite end, keep your eye on this, okay, keep your eye on it. Opposite end is around here, right? So again, I'm going to call, I actually called this before, and now that that severe one is there, holy smokes, maybe Mount Etna might blow. Because it's within that, remember, I used this, we'll go back to the video, whoa. So anyhow, we'll see it again one more time. Oh, just to make sure, it's about here, right? Almost to that line, almost in this intersection. And what I call was usually, that's the diameter of the antipode of big earthquakes, or just hot spots, if you may, where things hit. This is the diameter. And that's how I called out that there was a huge earthquake here, and I said, and see, the circle is still there because it follows all kinds of lines. And I said that's why there was a big storm happening here, and that's why I called this one here. But we'll see the video, and again, it's not about being wrong or being right. The point is that it's pretty close to what I called, okay? Not even a full week ago. But because of what we're seeing there, I forecast that most likely Mount Etna might blow, okay? A pretty severe blow, volcanic eruption. Okay, not crazy to where like it's like Mount Vesuvius level. God forbid it's at that level. It won't be, okay, but it would be at least a cat level 5 maybe. It's pretty damn high up there. Okay, that's like Mount St. Helens, late 80s, I believe is when it erupted. Or early 90s, somewhere around there, I think it was, or maybe it was late 90s, but it was somewhere around there. Look up Mount St. Helens in Washington State. Okay, the severity of that didn't kill. I think it killed a few people because they were hiking in the area, but it wasn't crazy to where like it reached populated areas and it was a huge explosion. No, but it was so huge that it collapsed nearly a third of the side of the entire Mount St. Helens, which is huge. It literally collapsed it in less than like 4 seconds. It's insane how everything just dropped all of a sudden. Look for videos, you'll find it. But anyhow, so next thing to look up is this one here. The Fiji Island ones. There was one that was. So look. See what I mean? Look how deep that one is. So we'll go deep in this one. So remember I said the deepest they can reach is 600 kilometers. Okay, let's see what this next one is. 10 maybe? Nope, 576. So let's see any other ones that are in this area. And look how tricky they do this, okay? They can easily put everything here, but look, they don't. You see that? Why do they do that? They can easily add this all right here. But they don't want you to see how active the ring of fire is. So this is why they make it confusing like this. So anyhow, this is this, as you can see. Well, technically it's slightly to the east of it because this Fiji area. So if we zoom in, that area that we're seeing is more over here somewhere. Okay, but anything here, let's see in these areas. If I click on it, see, 10. And this is, that means it's deeper than 10. Deeper than 600 kilometers when they showed a definite 10 like that. So definite 10, see? Look at that, 33, cool. Another 10, another 10, another 10, another 10. I'm surprised that 33 didn't have like a technical, like more detailed number, which see all of them, how they all have been 10, all of them except for that 33. That goes to show you they're sending messages. I'm not going to say much about it, but this is no coincidence, guys. Look at how it looks like a freaking cross, and aside from anything else, all the other one was a 33 somewhere around here. This one. Sorry. Nope, that's not it. There it is. See? It's not a 33 point something, like say for instance right here, 37 point, yeah, the depth. 5.6. It's not a solid number. They always have a point something because it's always that accurate is how they try to be, except for these. Why would they need a point zero at the end? This is the goes to show you. This is an automatic number that is a false number. This is to represent that this earthquake epicenter was deeper than 599 kilometers, because that's their limit, 599 kilometers. You'll see that the highest you will ever see is 599, and usually you won't see that. Usually you'll just see a 10, because that means it was just deeper than 600 kilometers in depth, like all of these. Again, see, 1.6, 32.1. All of them are very accurate for the most part. Okay, so anyhow, look at that. All crosses all. So let's go to this area. Okay, I think that's the one we already checked. Yeah, that's the one we were checking. Okay, so that's one, right? So now we're going to check the antipode to this other one that's cooking off. So we're going to go all the way to the same area, but we're going to have to go to the opposite of the earth of this map right here to get to the details of this. Okay, so it's pretty damn near the same area actually. I thought it was more over here, but it's the same area. So anyhow, 545, 576. So either way, it's right at the tip. So it's about here. So either way, it's the same area, right? So we know that this is a hot spot. So like I said, so these areas are if anything, there's going to be a 5 point something around here, which is not good, because last time there was a 4.9 is what they, and it dropped down a lot of the old cinder block homes. Well, they're not, some weren't even old, some were new, but it was just cinder block homes, in third world country type of deals, and a lot of them collapsed. I still have footage of that. Eventually, I'll show you that. So I believe in Nigeria area, somewhere around this edge, where this fault line is, as where it's going to hit. This is very rare for Spain or Portugal to get hit, but they might get hit. Again, with the 5.4, the most. It's not crazy big, but they have a lot of old school homes over there that can collapse easily. Just like it has in Italy, when Italy was hit rarely with an earthquake not too long ago, that Dutch sense warned a lot of people, and lo and behold, oddly enough, a couple that were really old, like they were like in their late 80s, they're the only ones, literally, they're the only ones that listened to him, and they prepared for it. And when it happened, they were the old people. They weren't even scared, nothing. They knew what to do. They didn't know exactly what because Dutchson's, he gets a pretty accurate, nearly this, for the most part. Like to me, he's about 89 to 94% accurate, which is damn incredibly accurate, because he forecasts the entire world in about an hour every single day, and he gets it like 90% at least or so correct. I only forecast very, very few parts, and I get only like 60%. And thanks, and at least half of that accuracy is thanks to him, because I've been watching him for over 3 years, but I've been following this stuff for over 8 years, and I had my own little methods. And when I found him, I was like, wow! And he's an expert in the sense that he went to the university for courses on seismic pressure transfer and all these things, seismology, and don't quote my words, but it's somewhere near those lines. But he actually took schooling for it, okay? So he knows what he's talking about, bar none. That's why to some of you he may sound arrogant or whatnot, egotistical, but he's not. He's just that certain, that confident about what he's saying. But anyways, because of him, I got a lot more accurate, especially because of him, I've learned about the antipode. And He uses the antipode analogy a lot, but not as much as I do. I use it all the time, but he doesn't have time to do that because, again, he forecasts the entire world in about an hour or less, tiny bit less, sometimes a little bit over. But every single day, just about, he forecasts the entire world. So, anyhow, he sent a warning out, and only the old people listened to him, and they came out on the news because people couldn't believe because they warned several people, and several people kind of told the news about it, that hey, somehow these old people knew exactly the time and everything, but we didn't listen to them. But look at them, they weren't scared, they were prepared, and this and that, and they made a story on them. And I think they took it down shortly after, but it came out on the public news, and I think he has an actual recording of it, or a clip of it, of the article as well, because it came out in article form. And they were talking about how they mentioned, yes, this gentleman in America helped us to understand that we were going to have a pretty high earthquake, and it was going to most likely drop some things from the counter and probably drop down some walls and things like that. And they were the only ones that prepared, and they were the ones that were trying to tell everybody, and no one listened. So they made a story of it, and they thanked Dutchsons in live TV and everything for it. But anyhow, so this is why I say Mount Etna. So this is the antipode, this area. This whole entire area here is the antipode. Okay, so that means within this circle here of that antipode of that, see how that Mount Etna, Italy area fits? I mean, look at this. Even this fits, this curve, which is technically where the fault line is where this started and kept displacing to the east, and that's why they match like that, okay? But the point is still, in a weird way, the antipode of this area that's getting hit on the other side, its normal crazy radius fits that, and fits Mount Etna in Italy. So I have a feeling those are the areas that's going to hit. There might be one here, which is kind of rare, one here. I don't know exactly when. It definitely will be within the next 6 days, no more than 7. There will be at least a 4.8, 5.2, somewhere around this area, right here, naturally, because pressure is going to transfer through this. And then rare one here, and one all the way to the south, close to Antarctica, throughout the next few days. It'll just be like a rare sporadic one here and there. No swarms, nothing like that, but you'll see. I'm not gonna prove it to you in the sense that I'm gonna capture it and then show. See, I'm right. No, it's whatever. I'm just saying it, and if it happens, it happens. If you see it, you see it. Cool, whatever. But if you see that I'm right, you'll be like, okay, cool. Maybe I should listen to this guy and then just follow his steps, just like I did with Dutchsons. Okay, because I was just guessing before I found Dutchsons, and this is why my accuracy was off. But I was monitoring for so long, and this is why I was starting to learn some patterns and frequencies, if you may. Frequency in the sense of how frequent things would occur in certain areas, that I knew there were fault lines and this and that. I was making these connections, again, with no schooling. And when I found, not to sound arrogant, I'm just saying, I found this just through mere observation, okay, and having this interest. And then when I found Dutchsons, he confirmed that I was, in the sense that when I was here, it's like, oh shit, so I am proper on these sequences and frequencies and patterns that I'm finding. But now I got actual technical professional wording, knowledge, understanding, this and that, because of Dutchsons. Okay, so because of him, I have become, in a sense, more of in a professional sense. Now I can speak in an eloquent way, in a sense, in reference of what I'm seeing, observing. Before, I wouldn't be able to do this. I would just keep it to and I did keep it to myself for so long, because I was like, these are just fucking theories of mine. Are you kidding me? And then when I found him, I was like, holy shit. And then I found other ones. Pardon my French right now. I'm just all over the place. And then when I found a few others too that do similar things, and they don't even know each other, and it's like, oh, we're all getting the same downloads, but some are experts at it, and not experts, but meaning they have gone to school, just like Dutchsons has, but not exactly for the same things like that. Some didn't even go to school for anything like that, but they just went to school for other things, and they were able to find these same patterns I have. So anyhow, gotta get going now. You can see, let me check to see if there's any new crazy, whoa, look at that. A new 6.1 in the same exact area. Look, man, something crazy, insane is happening, and this is not gonna slow down, okay? I'm telling you, Mount Etna, it has to be. It has to be. This is telling us there's going to not only crazy pressure, seismic activity transferring, okay, but also volcanism. Okay, Indonesia is going to blow. Somewhere in there's plenty of earthquakes. And as you can see, there's already a 6.2. And that's downgraded. So this is technically a 6.7, nearly a 7 earthquake, okay? And look at the depth. So this is the one I wanted to see because of the depth, and now I remember. So let's see the antipode of this, because this is pretty damn deep. Obviously, it's showing us that it's deeper than 600 kilometers, which is it to the complete west? Yeah, complete west, upper, yeah, so it has to be this one. This big circle here. Okay, and we're going to check the antipode to this. Alright, so keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on it. So it's this area here. And yes, that's the next one I called. The El Salvador, possibly Fuego, Guatemala earthquake. Volcano erupting. And yes, being an earthquake. And yes, just recently I noticed, I have a snapshot on my phone that in El Salvador, 2 of them in this area, is just so much swarming that they got overpopulated, and it wasn't that long ago. It was only about 6-7 hours ago, the most. Where was it at? It was right here. There was a 5.6, and then over here, right next to it, a 5.1. And Reventor, I think is what it's called. Reventor. No, Triunfo? Triunfo maybe? There's several earthquakes here, and this is technically, volcanoes, and this is technically a super volcano here. This is why it's in a circle shape. But anyhow, so, yeah, so I believe, yes, this area is going to get hit hard, and especially this loop here. For some reason, and again, this possibly could be also a super volcano here. This is why there's a huge lake there, and I guarantee you this is really high up. I guarantee you this is really high up. So anyhow, this area is going to get hit really hard again with the 6.5 or so. I don't see it going any deeper than this. I mean, further south than that. So the antipode came out to be there, right? Okay, out in the ocean, and this loop here, right here. So the antipode is right here. Man, they're gonna get hit hard. So now you know the circles here, right? The epicenter's here. This is going to be right here, like this. See how it fits? And oh yeah, Puerto Rico's gonna get hit hard then. Again, Puerto Rico's been swarming. Okay, so keep an eye out in Puerto Rico for about this area up here. Yep, this area up here is gonna get hit really hard, and it might send a tsunami, guys. So please have because the south has been getting swarmed a lot. But every now and then there's a crazy swarm here of about a 4.5, 5.2. And I mean a swarm, like worse than this, in this area here. So I believe there's a volcano coming up, and eventually there's going to be a new island here. Northeast to the main island to Puerto Rico. So have your people in Puerto Rico ready just in case with the contingency plans. All over, not just the north, because they're the ones that are gonna. So even if there is a tsunami because of that for XYZ reason, those waves are still gonna come over like a sound wave, and the other side won't get hit as high of a wave as the northeast where the wave was coming from, but it's still gonna reach this side, this end of the island still, no matter what. Again, with the lower height of the wave. But please let Puerto Rico, if the people in Puerto Rico know, all the people in South America here know that something is about to blow. Oh no! So that means, sorry, there's some trembling going on. My window was just trembling, and it wasn't the wind. And the night before, there was a long trembling. It was just tremble, rumble, rumble, rumble. This light rumble before I went to sleep. But I live east of the San Andreas Fault, far enough in. I still consider it LA County, but I'm in the safe side. But still, I can still get the shaking. But anyhow, so epicenter here of the one that's happening in Indonesia, this earthquake, right? That 6.1, that's technically nearly a 7. Okay, so that means the antipode of that is right here, but I think that this area here is going to get hit really hard in Mexico. Okay, within the next 5-6 days. It's going to get hit hard, possibly with the 6.8. 6.8. Highest 7.3. Yes. Before. And if it doesn't happen within this 5-6 days, it's definitely going to happen before February is over. Confirmation right there. It just refreshed on its own. Whoa, another hard one here. Goodness. Look at that. Look at this average, man. This is insane, okay? This is scary. Pretty soon, I guarantee you, this number used to be an average of 13 hours of span because there wasn't that much frequency of earthquakes happening. I guarantee you, at one point before this week is over, right now is February 10th, before this week is over, it's Wednesday, so we have until Sunday, this number is going to go down to about 4 or even 3. That's how frequent earthquakes are going to be happening. And they're not going to be measly ones like this. Okay? They're going to be at an average of these throughout, but there's going to be quite a bit of these 5s throughout. And then eventually, mid-March, the latest, there's going to be quite a few of these, believe me or not. From that point on for a few months, maybe even a few years. And I don't mean that quite a few of these every single day, no. Quite a few of these every other 5 days, no. It will be quite a few of these at least once a month. There will be a swarm like this. That's insane, guys. A swarm like this, or even like this that's happening today, once a month, every month without fail for the next 3 to 4 years. Mark my words, guys. It's gonna be rocking insanely, okay? I don't want to accept it, but I've been told by people who I truly respect and truly believe in all that, because everything they say is based off facts. Several different people, different parts of the world with different understandings and all that good stuff, and they're technical scientists. I cannot give you credentials for XYZ reasons, and there's no need to ask questions. I don't mean to sound like I'm trying to control you, but I'm just saying it's at that level. So please don't ask questions. But anyhow, they have told me that they're expecting that the next big one is not going to be like we've been told. That, oh, it's going to be a high 8. No higher than a 9, because we have had those before. But way, way, way in the past. But they're not unusual. But these that didn't used to be unusual but became unusual in the past several thousands of years, and I mean quite a bit, 20,000, 30,000 years, but they were kind of common before, like I explained this to be maybe once a month or so. Think about that. Once a month, earthquakes of 11 to magnitude 12. Okay? Again, magnitude 11 to magnitude 12. I don't want to believe it, but that's what I'm being told that we're going to be facing. And one of them, which is a Native American, told me when it happens, and it will happen, when it happens, you better strap yourself to a tree and you better hope that tree has some strong roots. Now, if you think about it, that could also be metaphoric, okay, parable like. Why? Because this is an elder that told me this. But if you think about it, it's obvious also literal. You better strap on to a tree so that you're not getting tossed all over the place. Because if you think, the highest I've been in an earthquake has been, what was it, 7.1 or something like that. That one that happened in California in the late 90s, somewhere around there. But I was in about 6.2 when I was in Alaska. That one was freaking crazy. I was in the barracks in Alaska when I was stationed up there. That was insane. And that was tossing me around. I thought at that. So imagine a magnitude 11 and 12. It will literally toss you at least 4 to 5 feet across the room in a matter of less than a second because of the jolting that it is occurring. Something that powerful will not stop moving for at least like the normal earthquakes that keep moving for about 6 to maybe 12 seconds the most. This thing, that big one that happened in California, that lasted almost a minute. It was like, if I remember correctly, it was like 40 some seconds. That seemed like a lot longer. Okay, the one in Alaska, that was almost a minute as well. It was pretty crazy. I couldn't believe it was going that long. But this, when something this big happens, even a small, just instant jolt, the shaking will be for at least a good 30 seconds. But the trembling and all that before it subsides and dwindles away, that thing will last for a good 7 minutes or so. And the 7 minutes will be at a rate of 7 point something magnitude because that's the slower end. I mean, most can't even fathom what truly would happen. What I'm saying, I'm nowhere near 100% correct. This is just coming out of my imagination as I put all these parameters in my supercomputer in my head. And trust me, I not to sound arrogant, I do consider many things at once. And even that, I mean, if you think about what I'm saying, with whatever knowledge you may have, you could right away be like, yeah, technically, if I can't even fathom what an 11 or 12 magnitude earthquake is, but if that was even possible, and I know what I've seen on TV, and I kind of believe that that's possible, because even if I haven't experienced one, meaning if you're somewhere where there's never been an earthquake, still, what I explained to you would be like, yeah, if that 11 or 12 would happen, yeah, I can see how that could easily happen, what Nedzaya right here is saying. So, please, guys, I don't mean to scare you. Just be prepared just in case, and just have that, consider it just little by little, so that if something ever does hit near you, like it won't shock you like crazy. You'll be a leader in the sense that you'll be able to perform in the sense because you already considered many things way ahead of time. And again, you don't have to be scared, concerned, worried, nothing. Why? Because this is out of our control. But I'm giving you evidence that it might be happening sometime soon. Of course, we've been told that over and over, but I'm giving you details that help you understand the gravity of how much you, depending on where you live at, what you're susceptible to facing, meaning you might not be susceptible to earthquakes, but you might be susceptible to volcanism, or even something like nothing of that, but weather-wise, meaning like tornado or something, because you live in Tornado Alley or whatnot, whatever it may be. Just please be considerate with your contingency plans, even if you're not technically making moves to be ready with a contingency plan with supplies and all that things. Okay, no problem, but at least consider it. If not by yourself, with your family and friends, at least by yourself, and at least voice it once a year, which is way not enough, because we don't know when it's going to happen, when it's going to hit, but it will happen, and it's going to happen sometime soon. And I forecast it to be in less than 4 years, for sure. And it's going to be a lot of trauma. No one's escaping this one, guys. No one. No matter where it hits. No one is going to escape the trauma we're going to be facing. Because even if others don't get shooken on nowhere near the antipode or the epicenter, they're still gonna feel the grief that because of what they're gonna see of what's gonna be happening, all the footage, all the things, all the fund drives, all the things, all the help that's gonna be needed. It's gonna be worldwide effect, but once it happens, it can't happen again for a very long time. It's just the way the cycles go. The evidence shows us, and this is what's gonna bring a lot of people together in all reality. If you think about it, gotta get going. One love, one life, for together our light will shine much brighter. May peace be with you. Never forget, you're only limited to your creativity. Pain is temporary, pride is eternal, fulfillment lasts forever. The fight will be worth it. One love.